Hey folks, Will here again with Happily Ever Outdoors. So today we're going to take a look at another one of Stanford Outdoor Supply's B.O.S. kits. Now B.O.S. stands for Bug Out Survival Supplement, and this is going to be their fishing and hunting kit. This currently goes for $20 on StanfordOutdoorSupply.com, and this is a really nice kit from what I can tell so far. I've already done a review on their fire kit. You can check that out on my channel, and I'm going to have some more reviews coming in the near future. So I just need to say thank you real quick to the folks at StanfordOutdoorSupply.com for sending this product out to me to test and review. I need to let you guys know I'm not a paid representative of the company, so even though I got this product at no cost to me, any opinions that I express or statements that I make in this video are my own. Alright folks, so a couple of things real quick about this kit that do apply to every single one of the kits. It does come in a sturdy aluminum material and plastic type pouch. This is resealable. Now when you get it brand new, it's going to have another piece up here on the top that you can tear off, but you can see it's got a resealable Ziploc type seal there on the top. Now this is a 127 piece fishing and hunting kit, and if you're going to get real technical, there's actually some trapping items in here as well. So let's go ahead and open this up and take a look. Alright folks, so just like you're going to see in all the other videos on the B.O.S. kits, we're going to go through one at a time and check out all the items that come inside this kit. We'll go ahead and look at the instructions first. Now you do get some kind of an instruction sheet with each one of the kits. It does come on a waterproof, I guess wax coated type paper, and it does fold up nice inside the kit. Now this one, you're going to see some very basic instructions on how to set up a one type of a snare trap. It's also going to show you how to make a slingshot using the band that we'll see included in a minute here, as well as just a little picture to show you how to skin a small animal such as a squirrel. On the back side, you're going to see some basic instructions on fishing knots with some pictures down here, which is really great if you're not somebody who's an avid fisherman and you do have to use this kit for the first time in a survival type situation, that you've got something to help you out to tie some decent knots to actually make yourself successful in trying to catch something. So first off, we'll take a look at the small multi-tool that is included in this kit. By the way, you'll see most of the items in this kit do come individually bagged, which is great if you wanted to break this kit down and spread it out in your gear, or just for the fact that once you have it opened up and you're utilizing the items, everything is packed individually to help protect it from the elements. So we've just got a very small multi-tool here. It does come in a little pouch, and this thing folds up nicely. You get a basic set of pliers with a small cutter on there, and some other very basic tools on the side. Now I heard some people kind of giving bad feedback in some reviews on this multi-tool, saying it was very small and kind of cheap and everything, which it is. It's an inexpensive multi-tool, but keep in mind it's just meant to be part of this kit. We're going to have some fishing gear that we're going to look at here in a minute, some weights that you'll need to clamp on, things like that, to where if you did not have some kind of pliers, it would be really difficult to use that stuff. I'm not sure how you would put it together short of trying to smash it between two rocks or something. So this isn't meant to be like a long-term tool, to sustain you doing heavy tasks. It's just meant to make the rest of this kit functional. So bear that in mind when you're looking at this tool right here. Next, we've got 6 3/8 slingshot ammo. Now this is definitely something that is going to pack a punch when it comes to small game. Go ahead and dump those out. They're kind of sticking inside the bag there. Come on. Now this might not seem like a lot just looking at it, but this type of slingshot ammo, when handled properly, is going to be devastating to small game such as a squirrel or a bird, something along those lines. So very powerful. It would have been nice, in my opinion, to see a few more, maybe 8 or 10, but at least 6 gives you something to work with. Hopefully you can nail something with it. Now if it seems like I'm going in a weird order, I apologize guys. I'm just trying to make sure I don't miss anything here, so I'm kind of going down what's on the packaging. So next up we do have 6 screw eyes, and I will actually dump this little pack out. There's a couple different things in here so you guys can see. Alright, so with the 6 screw eyes, that's what you're going to get. Now, what might you use those screw eyes for? Well, I believe that the thinking here primarily is that you're going to be able to use these to make yourself a fishing pole. You're going to find yourself a nice, sturdy, flexible branch, and you're going to go ahead and screw these in, going down the length of that branch, and you'll be able to rig yourself up a fishing pole. So that's kind of cool to see that. Now, you've got a couple other things in this little pouch right here as well that we'll look at. You've got 2 L screws in here. You can see, I'll give you a close-up of that. You've also got 5 safety pins included in here, which you could use for all kinds of different stuff, specifically for setting up snares and stuff like that. Again, when you need something that's just going to tweak it just a little bit. But there's a bunch of different uses that you could use these for when it comes to fishing, hunting, and trapping. Also, you've got a razor blade included here. They've got a little cardboard sleeve to cover it up for safety purposes. And it's actually kind of sticking to it, so let me make sure I'm careful getting this out. There you go. That's just a regular flat razor blade, but that's nice because that is going to give you some kind of cutting tool, especially if you're actually getting to where you're trying to skin small game or maybe to clean up a fish. If you don't have any other kind of knife with you, be very, very handy to have this. Alright guys, so next up we do have 2 1.5-inch foam floats. These are nothing fancy, just a little bit of foam, a little bit of plastic with a bright orange stripe on there. But in an emergency situation, this could make all of the difference depending on the type of fishing that you're trying to do, just to have something that will float. So very cool, very smart to see those in here. Alright guys, so in this little pack here we've got a couple smaller packs, and this is going to be a lot of your fishing tackle right here. So we do have 4 jig heads that are included here. Now, for the sake of my own safety, I'm not going to open up all these hooks and play around with them for the video. I just know I'll end up sticking myself. But you can see there are 4 colorful jig heads included in there, as well as a whole bunch of fishing hooks. And these look fairly sturdy. And it's 30 fishing hooks altogether in this pack. So definitely enough to sustain you really well, I would say, in an emergency type situation. Even if you had multiple people setting up multiple rigs, or if you were trying to rig up something kind of like an unattended line, with multiple lines on it, something like that, you've got a lot of hooks to work with right here. So that's very, very nice to see. We've also got 20 swivels included right here, as well as, what is this, 25? Yes, 25 weights, which this is what I was talking about right here, where that multi-tool is going to come in handy, because you're going to need to be able to squeeze these onto your fishing line. So again, that multi-tool definitely is going to serve a purpose, especially if you're going to use these weights. Alright, so next up, they definitely do give us some good fishing line and cordage to work with here. We have 100 yards of their 8-pound test monofilament fishing line. You also have 20 feet of 50-pound test line. This is more of a braided type fishing line. And you get 15 feet of bank line. Now I will open this up so you guys can take another look. This is basically just a sturdy, inexpensive black cordage. This is braided right here. It's kind of similar to like netting for like a tennis cord or something like that. But you could use this as cordage for tying up something if you were making like a fishing pole, or you could use this to make a small fishing net if you're trying to set up some kind of river trap or something like that for fish. So cool to have that. A lot of good materials to work with here in terms of fishing. Alright, one other really cool thing that they were smart enough to include in here is going to be a stringer, fish stringer. This is a 6-foot stringer right here. Now, what is a fish stringer? Well, if you are not familiar with a fish stringer, let's open this up and take a look real fast. Basically, what you're going to use this for, let's say you were to catch multiple fish, or you catch one fish but you're not ready to quit fishing, right? Maybe you're out on a boat, or you're just on a riverbank, and you don't want that fish to die immediately. It'd be better to keep it alive longer, right, if you're going to keep fishing. So what you can do with a fish stringer is take this piece of the stringer right here. I forget what it's called, but it's got not really a sharp edge to it, but enough that it's going to pierce, and you'll put that through the fish. Now, a lot of people will say to take this and put it into their mouth and through their gills, and that will work. And then you would just bring it through this loop right here and then pull it through and then tighten it up, and that's what would keep the fish restrained. However, I kind of recommend against that if you can avoid that, because what you're going to do is push that through their gills, and then if they're struggling trying to get off of that thing, they're going to end up damaging their gills, bleeding, and they're probably not going to live as long, right? They need their gills to breathe. So I kind of recommend a better way to do it is to take this and push it like down through their mouth, behind their lip, like their bottom lip, and to loop it around like that, and then hook them in there. But to each his own. But the cool thing about that is once you've got one fish looped on there, like if you come through once, you catch another fish, you're just going to push it through, loop it through again, and you can tie them together. So you could get 3, 4, 5, 6 fish off the side of your boat or down the riverbank, and keep them alive until you're ready to leave, and then you've got a nice way you can grab them all together and carry them out of there. So something that's really cool to have, and it's actually kind of surprising to see this in kind of a survival kit like this. So you can kind of see that Stanford Outdoor Supply is kind of trying to take their B.O.S. kits up to a little bit higher level than just a regular kit that's all about just immediate survival. This is more about a little bit more kind of long-term sustainable survival. So very cool tool to have. Now, of course, with all this fishing gear, you're going to have some bait, and there is some bait included. You can see in this pack right here, you've got 5 artificial grubs, and I believe what they just refer to as 5 artificial lures. It's kind of a squishy green deal with a long tail on it. You also get 5 salmon eggs included in here. So you've definitely got some bait to work with. Now, I would say it would have been nice to see some other kind of bait in here, something that's kind of a stinkier bait, if you know what I mean, because certain kinds of fish, that's what you're really going to need to attract them. And especially if you're using like makeshift fishing gear, I'm not so confident as to how well artificial fishing lures are going to work. They may work for certain fish, but I think, you know, probably having some kind of stinky in there might be better for a lot of freshwater fish. However, I don't know, you know, as far as those products are concerned, how well they would hold, like long-term being stored and everything. Maybe that's why they kind of stayed away from that stuff, you know, worried about it drying out or whatever. But good to have something included right off the bat that you can start off, you can try, and then of course if you do catch something, you know, you can use some fish guts or whatever and kind of start making your own bait, and you'll probably be a little better off. But you got the basics here to get you started, so good to see. Alright, you're also going to have 4 zip ties included in this kit. There's a lot of different purposes that you could use these for. I don't think I need to spend too much time focusing on that. Definitely depending on what kind of snares, what kind of fishing gear you're rigging up. You know, there's a lot of different scenarios where these would be nice to have. So cool to see those included. Now, one very important element of this kit is the 20 feet of snare wire that you get in here. Now, this is a little bit heavier wire, which is good to see. Not super, super heavy to where it's going to be hard to work with, but heavy enough that you could keep, you know, potentially, I would think, you know, a little bit larger animal if you got something snared on there, like a, you know, a fox or, you know, a large rabbit, something like that. This isn't going to snap. It's not something that they can chew through. So this is definitely very good to have. I know people have different feelings about, you know, hunting and trapping and all that, and that's fine. But when it comes down to survival, you know, you do what you got to do. So regardless of whether you are an avid hunter or a trapper or not, they're good skills to have, and it's good knowledge to have if you need it. So definitely take the time and research. They do give you one basic idea here in this kit of a snare that you can make, but know how to do some different snares and stuff to make yourself more successful, or more likely to be successful, I should say, if you were in a situation where you were actually counting on catching something in order to survive. But very, very nice to see this in here. This gives you enough material to work with that you could set up multiple snares, which of course is going to be the most effective way to make sure that you actually get something to eat. Now, I saved a couple of the fun items to the end. One of the cool things that you get included in here is this Slingshot Band. You can see it's got like a little leather holster there, which of course you're going to use that metal ammo that we showed you earlier. Is going to fit right into that nicely. But this is a pre-put together band, and what you can do with this is actually twist this and tie it onto a stick. You just find you a nice Y-shaped stick, cut it off. They give you the instructions actually in the little sheet over here, and then this is like a ready to go Slingshot you've got right here. Another really great thing to see included in this kit is what is known as a yo-yo fishing reel. By the way, these are made in the USA, which is cool. You can see it stamped on here. So this has a metal casing on the outside. You can see it's got like a big kind of spring inside there that loads it up. And the way this is going to work, let's see, you've got this piece of string here that's just looped around, and I'll go ahead and remove that and get that out of the way just so you can see a little better. Okay guys, now that we've got that string out of our way, I'm going to show you real quick just how the basic mechanics of a yo-yo fishing reel works. Now you're not going to want to lose this string because you are going to utilize this, and you're going to loop it through this hole right here, and what you're going to use that for is to tie it off to a tree branch or something along those lines to keep this thing elevated near the water where you're trying to catch a fish. And then what you're going to do is just pull the amount of line that you need out of this reel to get your bait and hook and everything, which by the way, it's got a nice little pin right there you can just hook onto easily to set your tackle up on there. And you're going to toss that out into the water. Of course, you're going to want to have a floater or something like that on there, which is included in the kit, to keep that from just sinking down to the muck to where the fish kind of lose track of it. But once it is set, it's going to hang just like that. And you can see this little metal bar right here, try to pull a little bit closer, is going to come down, and that locks into that notch right there, which is what keeps the line from coming back or reeling into the, just reeling back into the thing. So when a fish bites onto this, here's what's going to happen. A fish is going to bite onto this, and they're going to give it a tug. And that's going to immediately cause that reel to start retracting. Now this isn't like an extreme amount of force on this. You know, this isn't going to pull like a tiger shark in from the shore, but it's going to keep tension on the line and keep pulling back on that fish. So especially if it's a smaller fish that bites onto this, that tension is going to kind of keep tiring them out. And the good news is, even if it doesn't pull them back to shore, it's not going to let them go unless they manage to, you know, the hook wasn't set very good or whatever. But then you can come back along, you can check that line, and you'll see that you got a fish on there, and even if you need to grab the line and try to pull them in by hand the rest of the way, you've got something to eat. So what's really, really awesome about this thing is the fact that it fishes for you, meaning you don't have to sit there and watch this. So if I was surviving on my own, I could find one fishing spot, go ahead and set this reel up, throw my bait out there, and maybe I go around the corner to another area and I've got my fishing pole that I've built and I can fish over there by hand. Meanwhile, this thing is still working for me. Much like setting traps and snares does the hunting for you, this will do the fishing for you. So it's really a big force multiplier. That's where, I mean, honestly, if they would have thrown two of these in the kit, that would have been really, really cool, because I really would have seen how that would be super, super useful. But even just the one, it's great. Another cool thing about these that a lot of people do not think about is that you can actually use this in much the exact same way you use it for fishing. You could use it for a snare. You could hang this thing up from a tree, you could pull it down to the ground, you take some of that snare wire you've got, make a length of that, and attach that, you know, twist that into, attach that to the line coming off of here. You could rig it up right on this little hook the same way with a snare, and then when some kind of small animal comes along, steps into that snare, and it hikes up on them, it's the same thing. This is going to snap back, it's going to put tension on the line, it's going to keep pulling them up and pull them up, you know, where they're up off the ground, where that snare is really, really cinched up tight, and they're not going to be able to escape. So multiple uses for this thing. Definitely can be a great way to get some food in your stomach in an emergency. So very, very cool, very smart item to have included in this kit. Alright guys, so what's my bottom line on the Stanford Outdoor Supply B.O.S. Fishing and Hunting Kit? I think it's another really, really awesome kit from these guys. At 20 bucks, it's a great value. It's hard for me to really find much fault with this kit. I mean, the only things, like I said, maybe 2 yo-yo reels would have been cool, and maybe having some other kind of bait in there. Again, something that's a little bit, you know, stinkier, that might attract certain kind of fish that the artificial type baits won't. But I don't know, maybe that's asking too much. Maybe that's, me thinking that I'm going to get more than I should for my money. But, everything is there. All the basic elements, the stuff you need to set up snare traps, the stuff you need to set up fishing gear, whether it's fishing by hand or fishing like with the yo-yo reel where it does the fishing for you. So, I mean, there's really a lot of stuff going on here. But, I mean, the reality is that most of us, if it's a true survival situation, you're probably not going to be going after like elk, deer, moose, stuff like that. You're going to be setting up snare to get rabbits and squirrels, things like that. You're going to be doing some fishing. So it really kind of covers the realistic ways that you're probably going to be trying to procure food in a survival situation. So a well thought out kit, it packs really well, it gives you everything you need to get going and to start getting yourself some foods. So overall, I think this is a really, really great kit. It definitely fills the category well. I encourage you to check out the rest of their kits on StanfordOutdoorSupply.com or on our channel as the reviews come out. But this is definitely another good one to add to your bag. I definitely can't recommend their products enough. So far, they have yet to disappoint me, and I am looking forward to putting out the rest of these reviews for you guys. Alright folks, this concludes our review of the Stanford Outdoor Supply B.O.S. Fishing and Hunting Kit. Feel free to leave your comments and questions below. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to check out this and other products like it at StanfordOutdoorSupply.com.